Hey guys, Kenya here, and in this video, I want to go through the IMO Web Analyzer, and I'm going to pick out some potential trade setups and actually walk you through it so that you can understand what you're looking for. I try to do these examples over and over and over and over again because that's what really helped me get really good at my strategy and being able to reach consistent profit with the Web Analyzer. So my trading has grown so much thanks to iMarkets Live, and I want to encourage you all that if you are, number one, feeling discouraged or feeling all over the place, that's normal and you're going to feel that way. And I just want to encourage you that no matter what, to keep going. Trading is a process. It is a process, and you have to keep going. You have to keep challenging yourself. You just got to plug away and keep going, okay? So I did not become consistently profitable overnight. I've had losses. You guys know I'm very transparent. Like, there have been frustrating times where I just didn't think I could do it. And trading is so much fun. You can be so successful. But guys, people out here will make you think that this is achievable overnight or within a month or 60 days. Please don't join my team if you are looking to come up in 30 days. I'm not the team for you. I'm not the leader for you. I'm just very, very honest that if you put your head down and you really study this and you find a few strategies, you test those strategies, you stick to one that really moves you, gets you excited, you will start to be profitable with that strategy. So I am going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to go through the Shareef strategy, and I'm going to show you potential trade setups, and you can look at the same information that I'm looking at to see exactly when would this strategy work, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to point out USD CAD. I just came from the gym, so guys, don't talk about me, okay? All right, so let's go through this and let's look at some potential trade setups, okay? So with the Shareef strategy, you notice that my Bollinger Band is on 20 and close, my RSI is on 7 and close, and my stochastic is on 5, 3, and 3. You can use the default settings, which I believe Shareef uses. However, these are the settings that I use. Many of you know I combined Davin's 4 rules with Shareef strategy. This is just Shareef strategy. I do not have MACD on here. I'm not going to refer to the 5 or the 30-minute chart, just the 15-minute chart, because that's what Shareef strategy focuses on. So let's go ahead and go through some potential setups, okay? And so I'm going to show you a way. I have a girl on our team right now who is killing it with this strategy, and I'm so proud of her. She's been trading for months. She's been frustrated, stuck, wanted to give up. Well, no, she didn't want to give up. I'll take that back. But she kept at it, and she's doing so good. So, and I know a lot of other you love this strategy as well, too. So let's look at it. So here's a confirmation. Okay, confirmation number one is, remember, you always want to check forexfactory.com and make sure that you're not trading red folders, high impact folders, okay? Always check your trend and know how the market is trending. So I always look to, if I'm scalping, a 1 hour time frame. As you can see, this has been in a downtrend, okay? And then it's going through a little bit of, let's see, kind of a little ranging right now where the market is really slow right now. So so this is where we are right now, but we're not looking to get into trades right now. I'm just showing you this because you want to always know which direction the market is trending, up or down. And I usually plot my support and resistance because that gives me an idea of price action and what it's doing and, what my potential is in the trade. So this is a potential setup. So I'm going to mark these setups for you so that when you are trading and using this strategy, that you know what to look for. And the main thing with trading, you guys, is patience. You have to have a lot of patience. And if you are using a strategy that you are confident in, then you just have to be patient and have confidence in your strategy. Okay, so if the web analyzer called a buy on USD CAD, you would look for your sell candle to close outside of the Bollinger Band, which it did. So that's confirmation number one. Confirmation number two is you want your RSI. You want your RSI to be below 20. Okay, the 20 level. So we keep our RSI on 20 and 80 level. And let's see here. Let me just stretch this out a little bit so you can see. Okay. and right there. So you want your RSI to come down to the 20 level and you want it to cross up, okay? You don't want to get in the trade until everything is confirmed and crossing up. So I'm going to show you where the perfect entry is, all right? But right now I'm just pointing out the setup, what you want to look for in the setup. So let's see here. Let me grab another one. And now we're going to look at our stochastic. So you want your blue signal line to come below the 20 level, and you want it to cross up, which it did. So notice right here, guys, that once that happened, once your blue signal line comes down to the 20 level, it crosses up over the red signal line, and then your RSI is pointing up and going in the direction you want it to go. You could have entered on the second or third candle right here where the third candle starts to form. So this is a great confirmation. And let's just say, had you got in, you can go for a good 3 to 5 pips with this strategy. But honestly, this is what I found from journaling so much and backtesting this strategy, is that when you get into setups that are like your RSI is well below 20, you have a perfect confirmation through the Bollinger Band. You got a nice Bollinger Band hit where the candle is closing outside of the body of the candle, not the wick, but the body of the candle closes outside of the band. And then also down below, your stochastic well below the 20 level. So my stochastic is not at the 30 level, it's well below the 20 level and pointing up. When you have a very strong confirmation like this, I find that you can get at least a good 10 pips. And as you can see what's happening, prices going up and down, up and down, up and down. And so let's see exactly how many pips this would be had we entered right here, even on this third candle. So let's see, let's measure from about right there. Hold on. Oh. Let's get it again. Hold on one second. So if we got in on this third candle, and let's say, had we got into this trade, this is 33 pips just right here, the area I have shaded. So what I normally do, guys, is I get into the trade, I twin trade. So I usually enter no more than 3 positions at a time, really 2 positions, okay? So let's say, for example, I enter into the trade and I do 2 positions at a time. And I do, let's just say, you never want to risk more than 1 to 3% of your account balance on one trade position, all right? So let's say if you were able to risk, let's say $1, like let's say that's 2% of your account. So if you did a twin trade, you would do one trade at 50 cents a pip, and you would do your other trade at 50 cents a pip. Now, what I normally do is I do my first position at a 5 pip take profit. So I'll do a 5 pip take profit on my first position. My second position, once I'm about 5 to 8% profit, what I normally do is I move my stop loss to my entry price, or 1 pip past my entry, to make it a risk-free trade. And I just let it continue to go. So I trail it. So for example, once I'm 10 pips in profit, I would move my stop loss 5 pips past my entry price. So that's, how you can trail your stop loss and continue to manually adjust your stop loss so that you can lock in more profit. So that's how some of us are being profitable with this strategy. Let's go through another setup, and I'm just going to show you again, some more setups to look for, okay? So as you can see, all you have to do is just find potential tops and bottoms. Even here, I want you to notice something here, because a lot of people get afraid on the pullback, and you don't have to be afraid when you have pullback, okay? You just have to be patient, that's all. So for example, I'm gonna show you something. You have a setup here, so let's mark it out. You have a setup here where I usually like we always want to pay attention to the time of day that you're trading as well. So if you trade during the volatile times, then you're gonna do well with this strategy, okay? But let's see here, we have a confirmation where, let's say a sale was called. So your last 2 candles or so were outside of the band, closed outside of the band. And then you have your RSI, which closed above the 80 level. So see how the reason why we love to take trades above the 80 level on the RSI is because most people have their settings on 70-30 for the RSI, and they're entering on the 70 level. Like, let's find the 70 level. So let's say 70 is about right here. So by the time you get to the 70 level, we would have had taken profit already if we were only doing, 3 to 5 pips or so. So that's why we love doing the 80-20 level on the RSI with the Shareef strategy. Okay, and then let's go ahead and mark out our stochastic. Look how beautiful this is, way above the 80 mark, and then your red signal line crosses down, right? So then you had a nice sell that occurred, and then you had some pullback, and then you continue to have a little pullback, and then price. So you probably would have freaked out right here, like, oh my gosh, what is happening? But like I said, if you just be patient, usually you're going to get exactly what you anticipate. So you have to be very confident in your strategy and just know that if you follow the criteria for entry and exit for your strategy, then you'll come out profitable. You have to evaluate this and determine, is this feasible for you during the time that you trade? Also, what fits your personality? Does this fit your personality? Are you able to be profitable and make the amount of, income that you're desiring during the times you trade? Now, if you're new, I really encourage you to give yourself time, okay? You don't want to try to make a fortune overnight with the web analyzer, but this is a tool that can really, to me, this is gravy for new people. This is awesome for new people. I feel like it really makes things very simplified for you. For me, almost 1 year, not quite yet, but almost a year into IML, I become very confident in my trading. I'm pretty much nearly trading, reading a naked chart without indicators. And I think that is the natural progression for someone who is trading with IML or any type of education platform, is that eventually you want to get to the point where you don't have to rely on a system, but only if you want to, okay? So to me, this makes it really easy. And also, if you're doing the growth plan that a lot of us use, like the compound growth plan where you're consistently growing your money over time, you're not aiming for, let's say, $500 a day, but maybe in one of your accounts, you're consistently and profitably growing your account by 1 to 5% every day. You can do something like that very, very easily with the IMO Web Analyzer. So this is another great setup that I want you to just take note of. And again, I want to point out something else. So you see how this took a while before you had a nice drop here? It could have been because of the time that you're trading. So if you're trading during a slow session, it's going to take longer for you to take profit, which means that it might be hard for you to be profitable during those times if you're trying to make, let's say, $25 a day, right? You can do that much quicker if you're trading, for example, the London or the New York session. But if you're trading maybe, let's say, in the middle of the day when it's lunchtime in New York, that's not the best time to trade. So you have to be wise and just kind of, follow your rules on your trading plan. Now, see all of this? This is, well, you could have got some tips here, but I'm going to point out something here. So I don't get into the market when I see this, more of like a range, this is not bad to trade, but you want to be, you want to have knowledge of trading, when you see ranges or consolidation. Right here, you'd had some nice movement, but I'm just going to be honest with you. What I find is that when you have a nice oversold, overbought section on your RSI, your stochastic, your candle closes way out, body of the candle closes way outside of the Bollinger Band, you're going to have about a good 10 pips, 10 to 20 pips, okay? When it's not quite above 80, when your RSI is like at 70, below, I would say 75 or below, or it's just barely touching the 80, or not that you can't enter, but that's where I would caution you to maybe secure your 3 pips. And what I do too, you guys, is if you have a strong confirmation, because the market pulls back a lot, once you start learning how to trade pullbacks, especially in IML intermediate, you can grab your 3 pips, wait for a pullback, get in again, get another 3. So scalping and just, these are ways that I've effectively traded, and it has worked for me. So I just want to point out those tips to you. Let's find some more peaks and tops and bottoms and see. And the good thing is, when you focus on one currency pair, like I said in a previous video, you can ride it up and down. Ride it up and down if you want to, if you have the time to do that. But you don't want to be at your computer all day or, trading all day long. I'm just showing you the potential of what you can do. So let's scroll through. These are still good setups. I mean, they're not bad. I just find that, if you want to win all day long and really minimize your losses, you want to really perfect your trade entry, and you want to enter when everything lines up with your criteria for entry. So here's another good one, for example. So let's just point it out. Okay, so here you have the body of the candle that closes outside of the band. So this is really nice. So this is confirmation number 1. Okay. And then we will check our RSI. Does our RSI come above the 80 level and points down? Yes, it does. Okay, so we're gonna mark this area. Perfect. Next, we're gonna look at our stochastic. Does our stochastic, the red line, come up and crosses over the blue? It's above the 80 level, which it is. You can see the 80 level right over here, and crosses down. Yes, it does. And what happens when all of that comes together? What happens when you have those 3 confirmations on your 15-minute chart? It's not hard, guys. It's not hard at all. It just takes lots of practice. Okay, what happened? Bam. And your pips are delivered to you. So let's measure. If you had entered on the second candle, you could wait and enter on the pullback here, or once the candle starts to form. So had you entered there, and let's say if you just want to go about right here, that's 24 pips, okay? You could have came all the way down to 35 pips. But if you don't know how far it's going to go, and you're going to have pullback, like I said, so just remember, you can always do a trailing stop. If you want to put your, so for example, once you get here, like maybe you'll say, well, I'll take my 12 pips and I'll be done with that trade. Or you can put your stop loss 1 pip past your entry. So for example, if you were to enter right here at 1.3056, okay? Usually when I'm about 8 to 10 pips in profit, I will move my stop loss to my entry price or 1 pip past my entry. Actually, you want to move it at least 1 pip past your entry to cover the spread, the commission. Because if you move it to your entry price, then you'll be paying a commission fee and you won't be profiting anything. But you at least want to cover your commission costs from the broker. So what I do is if I get in right here at 1.3058, and let's say I'm now, suddenly I'm 10 pips in profit, I will move my stop loss to 1.3057, 1 pip past my entry. So that way, if the market I'm gonna just see what the market does, see if it continues to go in my direction. Once I'm about 10 pips in profit, no, let's say I get to about 15 pips in profit, well then I'll move up my stop loss to about 5 pips past my entry. So that's how I trade, and I limit my losses. But hopefully just looking at these setups will give you a good idea of good trade setups using the Shareef strategy on the IMO web analyzer. You can quickly scalp this, guys, and you can make, for example, for those of you not covering your subscription every month, first, if you're new in your first month, get that out of your head. Like, don't even focus on making money. Just trust me. You can take advantage of the referral program to trade for free. But once you get the hang of what you're doing, guys, you can easily make $10 to $20 a day minimum just to cover your subscription. Set that aside after you trade. So if you were scalping, and let's say today you make $13, okay? I'm going to take partial of that profit, or I'm going to take $10 because I still have my balance in my account. I'm going to take $10 and I'm going to do an internal transfer inside of my broker account and move that to another account so that I have my subscription costs covered. You only need to make $10 a day minimum over 20 trading days, and that's not hard to do. So once you get comfortable and you know what you're doing and you're feeling, confident in your strategy, you'll be able to do that very easily. So just remember these things that I'm sharing with you because they'll help you down the road. Right now, you know that trading works. You just need to work it. You need to master it. That's all you need to focus on doing. It's not that IML doesn't work or these tools don't work or trading doesn't work. You have to figure out how to work it. That's all. Here's another confirmation for you. All right. We have a sale. Price closes outside of the Bollinger Band, the body of the candle. Okay. You want the body of the candle closing outside of the Bollinger Band. The next candle starts to form. You could get in when the next candle forms. You just want to make sure that everything is confirmed. So your RSI is confirmed well above the 80 level. So see this consistency. See that every time I pick out these tops and bottoms that are above 80 or below 20 on the RSI, you have a strong candle closing outside of the Bollinger Band. And then you have your stochastic here where your red signal line crosses over your blue and it's above the 80 level. You see how when everything is consistent, you have a nice sell or a buy that takes place? And that's exactly what you want. So that's why I'm picking out these tops and bottoms to show you the trade setup. And you would enter, once you see all these confirmations, these 3 confirmations, just remember, you want to always quickly check and make sure which way the market is trending. But here, this is where you enter. You could have entered on your second candle that starts to form, or you can get in on the first candle if you want. You might have a little pullback, but even if you got in here on the first candle and you took it to about right here, guys, that's 20 pips, 20 pips. Okay, that's awesome. So what you'll start to see is that when you have these nice setups, you can easily get 10 to 20 pips. That's what I find. When the setup is not so great, it could be less than that, okay? But like I said, just notice up and down, up and down, up and down, okay? So pick a currency. You can pick a currency or two that you really like. Find which currency pairs trade well during the sessions that you're able to trade. Here's another setup here. This is the last one I'll mark for you since this is a buy. Price closed outside of the Bollinger Band. Hopefully this is making sense to you guys. If so, comment on this video and let me know. I want to know what your thoughts are. What questions do you have about the Shareef strategy or the IMO web analyzer? I'm more than happy to help you guys, okay? I know that you can be great at this. I know that this can help you as you continue to learn and increase your knowledge with Forex. So just trust me on this. Okay, so you got your RSI here. So notice how your RSI comes below the 20 level and points up, okay? And now let's look at our stochastic. Let's see here. So right about here, so your blue line comes down, and let's see. Hold on 1 second. Come on. Doesn't want to, let me get another one. Okay, so notice that right here, that the blue line, our blue line for the stochastic didn't come all the way down to the 20 level once we had our 2 confirmations right here. So see this, we have a confirmation here, but look where our stochastic is, okay? Our stochastic doesn't actually line up right there with it. It's pointing down, but you want your stochastic to point up. So what you could do is wait until your stochastic starts to point up. Notice that once everything starts to point up and you have like a really strong confirmation on the RSI and the stochastic, that it starts to go in the direction that you want it to go in for a buy, okay? And so you could have got in, like I said, on your second candle because you don't want to have a fake out. But what I find is when you have a really good setup like this, then it's pretty much going to go your way. You just have to be very patient for it, all right? And let's measure from here. So had we got in right here and we stayed in till about, let's say, up here, again, that's 37 pips right there, all right? So guys, I think I've proven my point. This strategy works and you just have to work it. Remember to journal your outcomes, your trading outcomes. So if you don't have a trading journal, make sure that you are trading with a trading journal. Every time you take a trade, you want to make sure that you record the time of the day that you traded, the currency pair that you traded, how many pips did you aim for, how many pips did you lose. You want to record your observations as well, especially if you're doing the Shareef strategy or any of these other strategies, because that's going to help you understand where the sweet spot is for your trades, okay? It's going to help you perfect that strategy. So this is the trading journal that you're looking at that I've used over time. This helped me so much, guys, when I was mastering my strategy and trying to decide on a strategy that was right for me. So if you see here, like I have old notes from Shareef strategy back in April of 2018. I put how many pips, and I rarely had losses. Like once I started getting really good, I rarely had losses, which I don't avoid losses. Losses are inevitable, but this is why a trading journal is so important. You can record all these kind of things, and I put notes here So on the Shareef strategy, strong RSI, moving in direction, Bollinger Band hit. So these are like the trends I notice is that when I have a strong RSI moving in my direction, the Bollinger Band hits, and then it goes my way, you know. And then of course, what time were these? Let's see. Oh, these were at night. These were during like the Australian Tokyo session. So, but most times I'm trading during the London and the New York session, and my trades will take profit pretty quickly. So anyway, guys, I hope that you find this video helpful. Pointing out these different trade setups. And if you have questions, again, comment on this video. I'd be happy to answer them. If you're not on our team, I want to wish you much success. And I know that you guys will be so successful. Just stick with it, never give up. And I will see you in the next training.